Artemus Toast here, and it's week 17. Last week, the Steelers they secured their playoff spot. So, this game today versus the Browns really, in regards to making it to the postseason, it meant nothing. But every game means something. Of course, I'm thrilled that they made the right decision by resting, Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger and also Pouncey. It's going to be great to have, all those guys, for the first playoff game at home versus the Miami Dolphins. You know, I feel really bad for the Browns. I really do. They played their hearts out today, but even with a depleted team, unfortunately the team they're playing against, the Steelers, obviously being depleted, they still lost, which is sad. Of course I'm thrilled that the Steelers won. It was an exciting game to watch. It came down to wire, to overtime. Tomlin going for it on 4th and 2, and which brings me to the next thing. The receiving core, that the Steelers have. Seeing guys like Hamilton and Ayers get involved now. It really shows the tremendous depth to the Steelers receiving core. You get a healthy Ladarius Green, and then you got Jesse James, on a tight end, and Grimble, a lot of clutch, good hands guys, and then you add the names, Eli Rogers had a great game today, Hamilton, great game today, Ayers, great game today, big shout out to Hayward Bay. Not only did he turn what could have been a touchdown into a touchback, he also had that long reception, so it's good to see him back because, he's one of those sneaky threats that you could throw in on a third down situation. He could, man-to-man coverage, he could be dangerous, as you saw today. Once again, receiving core is looking great. Dallas, I don't know, Dallas, that was weird. Defense, for some reason, they came on, later in the game, but, that was mostly the starting defense, expected a lot more. Jarvis Jones had a great game today. That was, Shazier, as usual, all over the place, having a great game. Davis and Burns, the rookies, unfortunately, Hargrave went out, talking concussion. Hopefully, that is something that's all right. That the Browns in the red zone, and once again, fortunately the Steelers defense came alive, in the red zone, Shazir's pick, and the fact that the Browns were first and goal, and it ended up, kicking a field goal, is amazing. Especially after that one, that questionable Mike Mitchell face mask call. I say it was questionable because it looked like both the offensive player, and forgive me, I can't remember who it was, and Mike Mitchell both had their hands. Maybe worst case scenario should have been an offset thing. Even though it didn't look like Mike Mitchell initiated it. D. Williams, looking good today. Good to see him, out there on the field today. He's a good pairing with, Le'Veon Bell in the backfield, allows them to operate in different situations and even though Bell's like an every down guy, every once in a while it's good to have him, let him get a rest. Landry Jones, for the most part, comfortable with him as a backup. He had a decent performance today. One pick, but overall as a backup, he looked like he was paying for a paycheck today, and by that, obviously know what I mean. He's a free agent. it really, you had that on both sides today. You had a guy like RG3, and then you had a guy like Landry Jones, both kind of playing for their future in one way or another. And, it was nice to see that, Landry Jones looked decent, maybe he provided the performance to make him worth a little bit more money, in free agency, which, I wish him the best, whether he stays or someone else picks him up. But once again, I made notes, wanted to make sure I hit on all the receivers, you know, yeah, talked about everything I wanted to talk about. Once again, nice way to end the season. Winning 7 games in a row. Keep it up, Steelers. Rock on. All kinds of awesome. Artemus toast out.